Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Hump Day. It's Wednesday. It's the 6th. Uh, wow, time flies of October. Excuse me. Uh, hey, William. Good to see you in the chat. Um, my eyes are already watering. It's been a quiet day. Um, I guess that's a good thing, right? I didn't even get to catch up on the news. I was doing all kind of like homebody crap. God, my eyes. And then I heard that some guy shot up his school today, and I was just kind of like, great. And his mugshot is ridiculous. And I was like, great. And shot a teacher who's not much older than he is. I was just kind of like, great. Oh my gosh. Um, so I was gonna bring this up. So then I was just kind of like, I started to remember why I put this at 6 o'clock. After I moved it from 4. Um, I don't know anyone in Newton, Massachusetts. Don't know anyone. Oh, excuse me. Uh, oh, so where's my phone? My phone is in the other room. All right, give me a second. Oh man, so TV's on in the other room. They're talking about strict strict vaccination policies. Uh, that's the game, right? You got to get vaccinated uh, to live in this civilized world we live in. It's an unofficial mandate. Some people are for it, some people aren't. I don't know. We don't talk about excuse my eyes. We don't talk about the vaccine here for reasons I've expounded on multiple times. When is sunset?
Sunset will be at 6:39 p.m. today.
Sunset's 3 minutes away. Man, when we started this, the sun was setting. I want to say around like 7:38, right? Maybe 8:20. Well, maybe not 8:20, but seriously. And now it's like this is about the time when I was a youngin that my mom would begin calling us in for dinner, right? Uh in the summer times it was great. Ooh, I gotta call my mama. All right, so let's get into some of the news of the day. They're gonna raise the debt ceiling. Here, wouldn't you love a life like that? Every time you ran out of money, you just raise the limit of debt you could get into. You would never have to pay anything back. What if your credit card debt, let's say right now, is $5,000, right? Which is not a lot. People have way more than that. Uh, you would just have to like call somebody and double it to 10, right? And then when that's out, you call somebody else and double it to 25, double it. So by the time you go from 18, right, to let's say 65, 70 years old, how many times do you think you've done that? And since you never really had to pay it back because you're a nation, how much do you think it would be? Some of you are modest and they're like, oh man, five, 10,000, I might get up to 50. You guys are adorable. I'm thinking a lot of people would that shit would be like $500,000 to $5 million, $10 million. Some arrogant people would be like, how did you have $100 million? I'm gonna pay it back. I just kept doubling it, and before you know it. Mm. Serial killer lured on social media by a friend of a victim gets 160 years. Wow. What, General Mullins? Get out of here. Get out of here. Wow, the wind is picking up nicely. Oh, that Mullins. Yeah. I mean, how can you stay? I'm pretty sure he got so much heat from the rest of the sergeants on the council of yeah, you can't have it. So now he didn't retire his cop gig. He retired as working in well, I wonder if I'm talking a lot of shit here. I haven't even read this. I would assume he gave up the big chair and is still somehow a a high functioning somebody in the sergeants union. Um, because something tells me he's not just going to go back out on patrol, right? And when this happens, everything freezes, so you can't run down and retire. The head of a major New York City police union has resigned. Raided his house and the union office Tuesday morning. According to a letter, Sergeant Benevolent Association, he sent the letter to the board, right? So he resigned from the sergeant's. He resigned the presidency of the Sergeants Benevolent Association. Uh, sent a letter to the Sergeant Benevolent Association's board sent to the union members. President Ed Mullins agreed to step down from his position after the board asked for his resignation. Right, so he had no support inside house. The nature and the scope of this criminal investigation has yet to be determined, the board said in a statement Tuesday night. However, it is clear that President Mullins is apparently the target of a federal investigation. We have no reason to believe that any other member of the SBA is involved or targeted in this matter. Wow. So, wow. So, yeah, it's a cop union. They're not going to be like, they gotta at least look proactive because all the other cop unions are in the district or around in the region, because they have union affairs. And I'm from this PBA and I'm from that PBA. I'm from Jersey. I'm from Philadelphia. You can't get there and be like, yeah, those are those dudes with that shaky. Yeah, they might as well all be criminals, right? You can't have that. So you got to come out ahead of it. Now, wouldn't it be nice if the governing bodies of like these states will come out ahead of this kind of thing and make it not look so squarely ridiculous? Early Tuesday morning, the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, good job, guys, executed a search warrant at the union's Manhattan headquarters, according to the statement. And also, you embarrassed the union with the union headquarters being raided. That's on you, right? So how can they be like, yo, dude, what is up? According to the statement, FBI agents left with cardboard boxes filled with evidence. All right, you don't know if it's evidence. They left with cardboard boxes filled with filled with some shit, but evidence. Let's just call it evidence. Evidence implies guilt. CBS News even reported. CBS New York reported, sorry, an FBI spokesperson said the search warrant was an ongoing investigation and had no further comment. Yeah, the only time they have comments on is when it's the person has no power structure. You should be able to brief us. This is bullshit. You should be able to brief us so we have some faith in these investigations and they don't look like witch hunts. Because the first thing everyone always says is it's a witch hunt, right? It's politically motivated. Oh yeah. Wow, that's some cold water. All right. Whew. Mullins has previously been accused of violating policy when he posted the police report from New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio's daughter's arrest during the George Floyd protest last year. He is currently facing a department trial over the accusation. He looks to lose everything. Ed Mullins dishonored his uniform, his city, and his union more times than I can count. It's just a matter of time before his endless hatred would catch up with him. You know how true a statement this is? Miserable people out in the forefront will ride that shit for only so long before they take a fall, and then no one has any sympathy for you because you were always an asshole to everybody, right? So Andrew Weiner, as witty as he was sort of a mean dude, right? And then when he fell from grace, people were like, ah, right? At least Bill Clinton was likable. He told jokes, right? And he wasn't openly discussed, derisive of people. So when he got to come up, people are like, yeah, but I like him. And he gave me this job, and Bill Clinton, right? You can say your piece without being an asshole. Like I say on this channel, we've had some people in the chat. We don't talk about that way about women. I got too many women in my family. I don't even want to hear. Not going to humor it. You get warned once, right? At least here, right? You get warned once. You say something smug about somebody else. We don't need you to attack anybody in the chat. It's not where we're at. We're smart enough to know what's going on without insulting people. That's all I'm saying. All you really need to do is state your point. You can be clever with it. You can be funny about it, but you don't need to be mean and just kind of like, you're an asshole and you're this and nobody wants to hear. And then when you get your comeuppance, people are like, that dude deserved it. Whether you deserved it or not, maybe you were a good, decent person. You just spoke to people nasty. The energy of that is all over. It's all over their memory of you, whether it's true or not. I thought they said it involved money. I have no doubt that it involved money. He probably, because these guys get credit cards, running credit cards to take people to dinner, but you gotta like write it. Maybe he's just having his people cut his lawn and then paying them with it. Maybe he's shopping at Home Depot to paint his granddaughter's room or whatever, and use all that shit is embezzlement. You can't do it. So that's why it's better not to use the card. That day has come. Uh, Ed Mullins dishonored his uniform, his city, and his union more times than I can count. It was just a matter of time before his endless hatred would catch up with him. That day has come. Wow, that right there, that day has come is quite a thing. De Blasio tweeted late Tuesday after following news of Mullins' resignation. Mind you, de Blasio is his boss. And the way this thing works is you serve at the pleasure of the mayor as a New York City police officer, right? I mean, he can. First, you have to do something. He just can't walk through and fire you. But like he's done something. He's tweeted out, So maybe he didn't do it because it affected his daughter personally. But he could have been like, "This is absolutely out of bounds and insubordination. You're fucking fired." He can't demote him because the tests are promotionals, civil servant promotionals, right? But if he was like a captain, he made him chief of department. He could demote him back to captain like this. And if he's tight with the police commissioner, he's got a command. I don't want him to have a command. Stick him in, some side office, somebody like the property department, or I don't want to disrespect whoever the captain or the chief of the property department is. But instead of at some high end, like where everybody can see you and you're trying to be commissioner, you can get like a shit gig at your rank, right? Because it shows that somebody there doesn't like you. De Blasio hasn't done this. Yeah, for see, no one looks into the unions, right? I mean, especially the cop unions who are in bed with like the DAs and the judges, right? So they do all this fight. They have a lot of so there's a lot of power being like a a, a cop official. And when it goes bad, everybody, like I said yesterday, sort of like leave like steps away from it. You're just standing there in the spotlight by yourself. Everyone else is just kind of like cleared out. Um, who's going to stand up for this? It sounds like it's police corruption. Ed Mullen dishonored his unit. De Blasio said, tweeted late Tuesday. Congressman Richie Torres also commented. See, he got it with a congressman. Richie Torres also commented on Mullen's resignation. A first class raid followed by a first class resignation. Former Sergeant Ed Mullins, don't let the door hit you on the way out, he tweeted. Classy. 2 years ago, Mullins was condemned for suggesting that New York City college student Tessa Majors, who was from here in Virginia, was trying to buy marijuana when she was murdered in a park near Columbia University. This just shows he shouldn't be in the union. No one goes around buying pot from strangers in a parking lot. This is not 1972. I would suggest you go watch Half Baked, especially in an age of apps. you know, plus in an age of apps and in the age of fucking making weed fucking free and gettable every place. It's not that hard to get weed. You don't have to go and ask random strangers from the hood to get you marijuana. Yeah, he's just an asshole. In a statement released to the New York Daily News, Major's family called his comment deeply inappropriate as they intentionally or unintentionally direct blame onto Tess, a young woman, for her own murder. Authorities later determined Majors was killed during an attempted robbery and 3 teenagers were charged. Yeah. I said it before and I'll say it again. Those boys were failed by this system too. That young woman should be alive, but those boys should have had more opportunity than to just worship, bullshit. That's on a lot of people. You can't just keep blaming parents like parents don't want their kids to be anything. It's such an easy fucking hit. We always blame the victim. Replacement unclear after SBA chief Ed Mullins resigns. Ed Mullins bombastic chief resigned. Leader and sergeant resigned. I wonder why though. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? It's Sally NYPD post. Let's see what the post has to say about this. The New York Post is a rag, I tell you. This is a crazy story. So it looks like he, it looks like this. It looks like he murdered his wife, and then months later, he murdered himself. Tom Sharkey, with 50, was found dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound at his daughter's home. He killed himself at his daughter's house, you piece of shit. She's got to live there. Walk past the room where her father. Why would you do that to people you claim to love? The husband of slain social media influencer Alexa Sharkey was found dead in Florida Wednesday after authorities issued a warrant for his arrest in the 26-year-old's death. He was twice her age. Thomas Sharkey, 50, was found dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound at his daughter's home in Fort Myers early Tuesday after members of the Caribbean Regional Fugitive Task Force arrived to arrest him years March. A warrant was quietly issued to charge Thompson the death of his wife on September. What? A warrant was quietly issued. Why was it quietly issued? Why does he get any more? Okay, all right, fine. Get that out of there. Yeah. Yep. Look at this. Look at how the Times will consider a subsequent death was discovered dead in his daughter's home. Thomas had fled Texas after Alexa's naked corpse was discovered on a highway in last November. Her death was later ruled a homicide by strangulation. Fans of social media store who had more than 30,000 followers on Instagram quickly accused the husband of foul play, but he defended himself at the time. You always defend yourself from time or you can be instantly arrested, right? I have been assisting the deputies making phone calls to find FINE sick. Did he say or did he write it? I guess he wrote it. I've been assessed. Oh yeah, this sounds like. Okay, here we go. I have been assisting the deputies in making phone calls to find sick what happened to my wife. Next time, stop and think and realize you don't know it. You don't know it all. He wrote on Instagram in late November. Yeah. Okay. So this is an update. Fine. Now I got you. A rep from Lee County Sheriff's Office told the Post officers are investigating the case as a suicide, but had other immediate information. But had no other immediate information. Other details about Thomas' suspected role in Alexa's murder was also not immediately available Wednesday. What do you need to marry a 26-year-old for? Really? All right. Especially a media social influencer, because I'm pretty sure once her career takes off, she's going to be leaving you for somebody more suitable to her, which is her own age. Maybe that's what was happening, right? Suspect nabbed, alleged gunman in Texas school shooting arrested after hours long manhunt. So yeah, I mean, you are not going to get away with this. Oh my God, I don't even have the thing up. All right, look at this guy. Come on, I have to better do these. So yeah, he shot this teacher. This guy shot a teacher who was like 26 like in this manhunt shooting craziness. 18, 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Yeah, he's going to get like 70 years. It just doesn't make any sense. Like I said, people used to try and get away with this stuff. Nobody tries anymore. Dead at 17. All right, so let's cut this on. Ooh, it's getting dim in here. I wonder what he did. Ex-boss of police union president charged with August 25th, 2020, raping 4 more people. That's not awesome. How police union embezzlement, including what is this? 2020 behalf of police. NYPD union tried to troll De Blasio. Yeah, why are you trolling him? He's your fucking boss. This is the arrogance that we're this thing unto ourselves, and it shouldn't be allowed. NYPD union tried to troll De Blasio during trip to Fenway. Bill De Blasio had fun at the game from the New York City PBA, and the 24,000 NYPD officer used stiffed out of a contract. I mean, they're just shitty. You know, I mean, it's not necessary, right? It implies everything about you is conflict. Everything about you is conflict. All right, so oh, did we not? All right, well, we're only 22 minutes outside of it. That's fine. Now they're talking about don't get booster shots before you're eligible. How tight is Trump's grip on the GOP? Take a look at the Ohio Senate primary. I should. Here's the thing: the idea that Trump can't be on social media. Why am I always out of frame? I got to move over here. The idea that Trump can't be on social media is hysterical to me, right? I mean, you don't know how to deal with him, so you ban him from everything, right? In a place where your argument is supposed to tell how good you are, it obviously doesn't. Ahmaud Arbery's killer doesn't want a jury to see his Confederate flag vanity plate. See, it's like this is the shit. Nobody's racist, but then when we look into your private life, you got all this racist leaning stuff, right? Do we want to read this? Maybe we can find it and I can read it out loud. Because we said it before, you can sit here and go, that fight wasn't about race. But as soon as they look into your thing, into your social media, uh, I hate this group, I hate that group, I could kill a whole bunch of these people, then you get into a fight and you kill one of those people. Okay, let's go here. I normally just type the I normally just type the title. Prosecutor reads racist messages by Ahmaud Arbery killers. I mean, God, look, man, these people are not the brightest. They really aren't. but they're arrogant as fuck because you let them get away with it forever. He has to pay his own lawyer. Where's he getting this money to pay his own lawyer? Here we go. Oh my God. All right. Travis McMichael is doing everything he can to show race was not a factor in the killing of a black jogger, Ahmaud Arbery. I gotta tell you, I gotta tell you, uh, I like I like street running. I don't so much like street running down here. It just seems like I'd rather run in a park where there are people around versus run past people's gates where they don't have their dog on a leash or any of this other shit. Okay, hold it. Well, let's see. There's already plenty to believe. Whoops, see that. Here you go. There's already plenty of reason to believe. Let's make this larger. Can you use self defense against the cops? No, you can't. There are already plenty of reasons to believe that Travis McMichael and his father, Gregory McMichael, decided to chase after 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery because he was black, including testimony from a state law enforcement agent who says he called the dying man the N-word moments after their encounter. So don't take shoot your own evidence, people, when you commit these crimes. It's not even called. I mean, tape just shows how old I am. We call it tape, but what would you call this? It's all digital, right? Nobody has the tape anymore. Good lord, nobody has tapes anymore. Now Travis, who shot Arbery 3 times with a shot, he was shot 3 times with a shotgun. I thought he shot him once with a shotgun. Oh my god, 3 times up close with a shotgun. Now that Travis, who shot Arbery 3 times with a shotgun, is doing everything he can to limit any additional evidence that suggests race was a motivating factor, including photos of his vanity plate, which includes a depiction of the Confederate flag. He and his father are facing murder and aggravated assault charges, but claim they acted in self-defense when Travis shot the young black on a South Georgia road on the evening of February 23rd. When Travis shot the young black on the South Georgia road on February 23rd. Okay. When Travis and Gregory Michael and their neighbor William Roddy Bryant began to follow Arbery as he jogged through his neighborhood of Bushwick, the younger McMichael had vanity plate of old Georgia flag on the front of his truck, according to the court documents filed last Tuesday. Hold it. Last Tuesday. They filed this shit last Tuesday, October 6th. So this is last week. Um, Georgia flag on front of his according to court document filed last Friday. I'm for last Friday. The flag in question is a second iteration of Georgia's state flag, introduced in 1956 with the purpose of showing defiance to the federal government. Just 2 years prior, the Supreme Court struck down school segregation in the landmark Brown v. Board of Education. I blame America for letting this arrogant bullshit go on. It's like what you see in Afghanistan, right? You can't go into the tribal lands, like because they'll shoot at the what I guess the state police, the Afghan like authorities. The whole position is fuck you. So now you have a whole country like that, and America let this happen here. So a lot of these people are like they essentially take over like a cancer over these small town police departments and do whatever they want, and then you have to bring them into light nationally and go, what are they doing down there? Right? Like I'm like, oh my god. I mean, the racism in like the North may have been like, I don't want any black people living near me, but when like this whole thing broke in the South and they were openly murdering and hanging people, raping and stealing people, people were like, what? the flagging, because they never talk about it. So nobody ever knew what was going on. Well, not nobody ever knew what was going on. People who travel from the north to the south on business would be like, what the fuck? But the average person, it's something that America didn't show everybody its face until it went on television. Everybody was like, what the fuck is this? That's the legacy to hide it. All right. So, and the arrogance of this move in 1956. Let's remember when they integrated schools. Mississippi schools were closed for 10 years. They opened up all these schools. Was it Virginia or Mississippi? It might have been. It's either Mississippi, South Carolina, or Virginia. I forgot which one. But they were closed for 10 years. They were like, to fuck the Supreme Court. And they opened up private schools with all this money. We're going to be extra racist now. It is what it is. And the government acted like a bitch about it. This is why everybody wants a weak executive. This is why everybody wants a weak president, right? The president should have been able to come down there and actually flex his muscle, and he has muscle to flex. But I don't want to get there, and I'll lose votes here, and yammer yammer. Fuck you, you. And meanwhile, people are being murdered. They're being hung from shit, and man, it's just, ugh, ugh. It was not 100 years ago, the 1950s. Remember that. Bum, 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 bum. Here we go. 1950, with the purpose of defiance, the federal government just, with the purpose of defying the flag in question is the second iteration of the Georgia state flag, introduced in 1956 with the purpose of showing defiance to the federal government. Just 2 years prior, the Supreme Court had struck down school segregation in the landmark Brown v. Board of Education case. Georgia was not alone in adopting the Confederate flag for their own around that time. South Carolina, Alabama leaders also showed similar act of defiance in the years that followed the landmark Supreme Court decision. Former South Carolina Governor George Wallace, for example, went as far as to raise the Confederate flag above his state capitol in 1961 in the celebration of the failed Confederacy 100th anniversary. Georgia would use the flag featuring the Confederate symbol until it adopted a new one without the stars and bars in 2003. Travis's legal defense team argues that prosecutors shouldn't be able to present photo of his old vanity plate in court, saying it will be irrelevant to the case and prejudicial. No, it's not. It's what you put on your car. I don't like fuzzy dice, so there are no fuzzy dice on my car. I don't like hula girls shaking their thing. So there's none of that in my car, right? If I had a Black Lives Matter, which is a political statement, if I had a I'm for blacks for Trump, that's a political statement, right? If I had a pro weed, that's a political statement, right? This is a political statement. This shows where your head is. Defendant Travis McMichael choice at the choices and the fact that this vanity plate, the prosecutors. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. I missed a paragraph. It will be irrelevant and prejudicial. The prosecution, on the other hand, argues the exact opposite, since the vanity plates were applied to the newly purchased vehicle sometime after January 2020 and were on the car the moment of the fatal shooting. So they're saying he bought a brand new car and he took the time to put these plates on his brand new car. It's not like he had them forever. And that car, those plates have been on that car for 10 years and he totally forgot about it, right? They're saying this is a brand new car. 4 months earlier, he bought this car and put these vanity plates of this Confederate flag on it. And then 4 months later, he kills somebody. All right. Can't say it's not a sound argument. Travis' legal defense team argued that the prosecutor, on the other hand, argues the exact opposite. Since the vanity plates were applied to the newly purchased vehicle sometime after January of 2020 and were on the car the moment of the fatal shooting. He shot him 3 times with a shotgun. That is just wild to me. I thought it was once in the chest, and apparently 3 times. And he went home. Defendants Travis Michael's choice and the fact that this vanity plate on the front of his pickup truck, February 23, 2020, are intrinsic evidence in this case and can be fully used by the state to illustrate the intent and the motive of Travis McMichael, the state said in its response to McMichael's request. The jury may interpret the evidence in any way they deem appropriate, and the state may make reasonable inferences in closing arguments drawn from the evidence, the state added. A judge had yet to decide on the matter of whether the evidence will be used during the upcoming trial. When Arbery was jogging through Brunswick, he stopped to look at a construction site along his path. The McMichaels spotted Arbery and attempted to carry out a so-called citizen's arrest. We're gonna look up citizen's arrest just because I don't think people know what the fuck they're what the frickin' means. Let's go here. After so-called citizen's arrest, after suspecting the black man had been involved in a string of burglaries in the area, the two men armed themselves with pistols and shotguns and tailed Arbery in their truck, and Brian joined the pursuit in his vehicle with his camera rolling. The three confronted Arbery by blocking his path with their vehicle. After an exchange of words, Arbery and the young McMichael got into a scuffle over the shotgun. Travis then fired 3 shots, killing Arbery. The young man's death pushed the state of Georgia to finally do away with its antiquated citizens arrest law from the fucking 1800s to catch slaves, essentially. And it was one of several, and then reworked so it could be a Jim Crow uh, tool against black people, right? And it was one of several deadly encounters that black people had with law enforcement related people that inspired a new call for serious police reform. The Michaels and Bryant have been charged with murder and aggravated assault. A cop killed another cop. A woman was charged instead. Yeah, it's never our fault. Um, yeah, that's not happening either. Black teen found dead in white man's attic did not kill himself. A lot of weird shit is going on. Then there's this cops and paramedic involved in Elijah McClain's death, charged with homicide. Yeah, we read this. I mean, the idea that you inject something in someone's neck is outrageous to me. In case of felony, the private person may take and felony, right? A private person may make an arrest for a felony occurring outside their presence. But the rule is that the felony must have, in fact, been committed. Oh, okay, hold on. Here we go. It says, all right, here we go. A citizen arrest is made by a private citizen. We are all private citizens, with the exception of the military. They are not private citizens. They are a weapon of the government, tool of the government, or whatever. But they are essentially government authority on 2 feet. Um, that is a person who is not acting as a sworn law enforcement official. In common law jurisdictions, the practice dates back to medieval England and the English common law, in which sheriffs encourage ordinary citizens to help or apprehend lawbreakers, right? Which makes sense. Despite the practice named in most countries, an arresting person is usually designated as a person with arrest powers who need not be a citizen of the country in which they are acting. For example, in the British jurisdiction of England and Wales, the power comes from Section 24A, uh, bracket 2, parentheses 2. I don't even know how you would say this right here. Of the Police Criminal Evidence Act 1984, called any person arrest. So, I mean, this is good, right? You see somebody punch an old lady and run away. You and a whole bunch of other guys give chase and grab them and hold them till the cops get there. That's a citizen's arrest, right? We're holding you until the cops come here. We saw him take that lady's purse and punch that lady, right? We saw him start a fire, right? Or we heard a lady scream and then we saw him run out with like a knife and we gave chase. So we didn't see what happened, but or somebody sagged out and said, "Stop that man," right? So then you see the girl. So all these ways are ways that you, an average citizen, can get involved in something if you see it, right? The thing about that and what is about this Ahmaud Arbery thing is they were just paranoid about something going on. No crime had been committed, but they inferred that one must have been committed in the past, and it must be this guy. So we're gonna stop you. That's not making a citizen's arrest. That's essentially kidnapping, right? You're rolling up on somebody you don't know to stop him from moving, right? You're stopping him from going about freely about his business. That's kidnapping somebody. It's not always throwing somebody in the basement and locking the door, right? I can take you with my gun. Come here, you, and I can take you from this corner across the street to the red light, and you don't want to go with me. That's kidnapping. That 90-foot walk across the street to the other corner is kidnapping, right? Much less with like guns, like felony, what like it's not menacing. You got a gun out, like you're holding people captive, hostage, right? I don't know. There's a whole bunch of other stuff on top of that that I'm pretty sure they will smack you around with. But it's kidnapping, taking anybody from one point to another, and they don't want to go is kidnapping. Uh, and holding somebody on that corner without taking some any place is it's not hostage. It is hostage taking, but it's called something else. Uh, Anyway, any person arrested, legislation, but that power does not say that they need to be a British citizen, right? Because remember, Americans stopped that guy from stabbing people on the train. I want to say in Paris, right? And he was a soldier. He got really badly wounded. Um, and then he came back home, and then he got shot because people are ridiculous. Anyone who laws by country, okay, anyone who makes a citizen arrest can find themselves facing possible lawsuits or criminal charges. False imprisonment is a convict, right? Unlawful restraint, kidnapping, wrongful arrest. If the person if the wrong person is apprehended or suspect civil rights are violated, this is especially true when police forces are attempting to determine who an aggressor is. Private citizens do not enjoy the same immunity from civil liability when making arrests on other private citizens as police do. The level of responsibility that a person performing a citizen arrest may bear depends on the jurisdiction. For instance, in France and Germany, a person stopping a criminal from committing a crime, including crime against belonging like, hey, don't beat that guy's Ferrari with a pipe, right? That's belonging. Is not criminally responsible as long as the means employed are in proportion to the threat, right? Uh, so if a woman is beating her cheating boyfriend's car and I intervene and I take the thing and I push her down, right? That stops this, and then the cops will take her for destroying property or whatever. And I'm holding her till the cops get to there. That under this law is fine, right? But I can't whack her in the face with it, like beat her up, and she's got a bloody. And then that's right. So this seems like anything in proportion. If someone's showing up with a gun shooting at people and you shoot them, that's in proportion. France and Germany, including committing crime, including crimes against belonging. It is not crime. They're not responsible, so no one's going to hold them accountable. To hold accountable, implying they did. No one's gonna like entertain you suing them. Is a better way to phrase that. However, that in both countries, this results from a different legal norm. Aid to others in immediate danger, which is concerned with prevention, not prosecution of crime. Australia, New South Wales, Australia, Queensland, Australia, South Australia, Tasmania, Victoria, Western Australia, the territory. Seriously, Australia. Name those territories. Just freaking ridiculous. Canada. Like here in America, we have bounty hunters, and you can't. I mean, if you bounty hunt in Canada or Mexico, they'll throw your ass from prison because they don't have any such thing, and we have it because it's oddly enough in the Constitution. Another weird thing in the Constitution. It's your right as an American to be a bounty hunter. Everybody's got one. All right. United States. A private person may arrest another without a warrant for a crime occurring in their presence. Their presence meaning I saw you do it, right? I saw you do it in my presence. You stole that car. I saw you walk over there with a Slim Jim, hop in and drive away. I saw you. You did it an hour ago, and now you're back looking for another car, and I'm gonna hold you here to the cops. I saw you do it right in my presence. I saw you sell drugs. I saw you hit that lady. I saw you steal that bag. I saw you did whatever. All right, crime in their presence. However, the crime for which did not happen in the Ahmaud Arbery case, however, which is listed here. However, the crime for which this is permitted vary by state. The procedure was criticized in the state of Georgia for potential abuse and racial bias after the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. As a result, Georgia repealed its citizens arrest law. Yeah, but you can't repeal it because it's good nationally, right? I mean, it's a national law. You have to somehow adjust your law to it. So if I stop somebody, you can't arrest me for making a citizen's arrest because the federal government says I can. Common law. Most states have codified the common law rule that a warrantless arrest may be made by a private person for a felony, which makes sense, right? A misdemeanor, really? Okay. Or a breach of the peace. Breach of the peace is generally a fight. Breach of the peace covers a multitude of violations, which the Supreme Court has even included misdemeanor seatbelt violation punishable only by a fine. Really? So they're saying that someone arrested somebody for not having the seatbelt on that they could have got a fine for, and it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, "Yeah, that's legitimate." What? Breach of peace covers the multitude of violations in which the Supreme Court has included a misdemeanor seatbelt violation punishable only by a fine. What the fuck is up with the Supreme Court? The term historically included theft. Right. Night walking, night walking statutes, English statutes before modern policing allowing or requiring night watchmen to arrest those found on the street and hold them until morning. Foremost among them was the Statute of Winchester, 1285, and real. Yeah, no night lights. Why are you out? What are you doing? You're probably out stealing chickens, or we're gonna hold you in the morning, maybe, and then overnight someone will go, oh, someone killed my uncle or whatever. Uh, Prostitution. You can arrest a prostitute for prostitution. That sounds like a John's game. And playing cards and dice. Well, okay. Texas courts have defined interpreted disturb breach of peace to mean an act that disturbs or threatens to disturb the tranquility enjoyed by citizens. Yeah, it's generally a fight or an argument. Consider, for example, the codification California Penal Code. A private person may arrest another for public offense committed or attempt to enter his or her presence. When the person arrested has committed a felony, although not in his or her presence, right? So I'm smashed out drunk and I crash my car into a kiddie party and I stagger out. All those guys can jump on me and arrest me before I run away. That's a felony in your presence. You saw this shit. When a felony has been in fact committed, in fact, well, I did it. I guess that's the in fact committed me getting out of my battered car. He or she has reasonable cause to believe that the person arrested to have committed it. Yeah, public offense. Use of force. People better know this shit. Everybody's got a gun, but nobody knows these rules. In general, a private person is justified in using non-deadly force upon another if they reasonably believe such other person's committed a felony. Right? You can use uh, force on a deadly force on a felony because only a handful of felonies. Uh, um, and arsonist is one of them. Yeah, you can shoot an arsonist dead. Arsonists cause a lot of problems. Uh, so if he runs past you or out of the way or and you have a gun, you can shoot him. I think in most places, mind you, you might want to check with your own stat. Uh, no, see, here's the thing. Um, if you have a cop there, then the cop can make the arrest, right? Let's put this here. So you may help the cop, right? It might be a small cop, and the guy might be big, and then three of you or four or five of your friends can jump and help that cop put him in handcuffs, right? That's aiding the police. That's just good citizenship, I guess, good citizenry. Um, but generally, you're helping him once he's on the scene. He's a authority. If it wasn't medically disqualified from the use, if I wasn't medically disqualified from the United States Marine Corps, I was thinking about doing bounty hunting. Why can't you do bounty hunting? Dog the bounty hunter is a felon and he's doing it, right? If I wasn't, yeah. I mean, it's good money if you're smart and clever. A lot of these people are not, I hate to be the one to say it, but aren't the brightest light bulb. So they fall for tricks. Cops have stings all the time, right? And I'm thinking every now and then the ones that you see on TV, like, those are super rare, right? the cartel members or the whatever, I would do it. I would just stay away from like some of them. Some people, I would just stick to the guys who I wanted for $5,000, $10,000 in my community. Right, then you got to find out where the mom lives and where the girlfriend lives. Maybe you can get a cell phone number. It'd be like the movies, right? Uh, but as for all the other stuff where people are international, like they're still looking for some ICE, Al Qaeda members from the FBI, right? Go to Yemen and pick up one of those guys up and get 25 million for it. Oh, nice. That's safer. That's better. In general, private person use it for shopkeepers, merchant privilege, and so yeah. Well, shopkeepers are running a business; they have money on them, so they can defend themselves differently. Like jewelers can carry guns and right because they have tens of thousands of dollars of jewelry on them in a little sack. And it's like if you don't know they have it on them, fine. But yeah, in some states of the United States, the court recognizes common law shopkeeper privilege, under which a shopkeeper is allowed to detain a suspected shoplifter on store property, not outside, for a reasonable period of time. What is a reasonable period of time? Right. So long as the shopkeeper has cause to believe that the person detained in fact committed or attempted to commit theft of store property. The purpose of this detention is to recover the property and make an arrest if the merchant desires. Right. But a lot of this is just paranoia. You know, I think you did something kind of stuff, which was look between me and the wallpaper. Black dudes in New York City, the black community in New York City, aren't fond of the Asian community in New York City because of this treatment in shops and stores. And it goes back a long way. So, I mean, I mean, there's animus between groups, and for all sorts of reasons. But this is one of them. There's a famous one of a woman shooting this girl. We looked this up a few months ago too. Shooting this girl in a shop in California, and it set off riots because there was an underlying thing of these people coming to this neighborhood and they do XYZ and they disrespect us, right? So different liability from police, which just makes sense. All right, so let's close this. Let's close that. Let's look over here. Um, okay, so let's move on to the next one. We've been streaming for not that long. I should get a drinky drink. The wind is coming. It feels like it's trying to rain. Oh, I gotta tell you, ice cold thermos water is enjoyable, but the fact that you guzzle it, it reminds me of when I went to like summer camp a million years ago, and I drank out of this stream. It was the most after being like a city boy, you're drinking out of a creek, and the water is just the coldest. It was just the night. It might have been also because I could have sworn I was gonna die of thirst. You know how I haven't drank in an hour, and I'm walking around in this, and then you got to this creek where we got to fill up our canteens and drink, and it's like it's just one of those memories that comes back to me so vivid. Like it was in the Delaware Water Gap. Let's look at pictures of the Delaware Water Gap. That is not a good spelling, but we'll take it. All right, fine. I thought I picked up pretty freaking good. Yeah, I'm super for like I'm not a camper, but I'm super for hiking, walking around in areas like this with your dog, with your buddy. Look at him. And I'm not talking about look at this guy. I'm sorry. Let's look. Let's take a look at this guy. Oh, it's too small, but that's all right. Um, yeah, just take a 5 or 10 mile walk. in and around the nature. I'm not saying drink out of any creeks or anything anymore. And you're God, how old was I? I want to say I was between, because I went several times, but I want to say I was like 12, 11 or 12. Um, yeah, walk the Appalachian Trail. Look at this place. Got your little dog on his shoulders. Park ranger carries dehydrated dog. First of all, why don't you bring water with you? And when I had my dog, I had these little packs for her. I could so get another dog. Look at this guy. Like, you got little treats because dogs like to. And then it had a little handle at the center so you could pick them up from the back and carry them like luggage, right? So you could pick them up and carry them over things. Yeah. So yeah, Delaware Water Gap, National Recreation Area. That is an image. Well, and of course, it's a tiny image. Pretty good. It all reminds me. You know what? And here's the thing. Maybe in your mind's eye, you romanticize it. And maybe that's what I'm doing. A grilled cheese sandwich and chips for dinner. What do I want for dinner? I like to be able to get this C chord and B chord down. It's hurting my brain. It's funny. I just realized like last week, I was doing scales. I was like, I don't know any scales. Right? Oh. I was like, I don't know any scales. Let's see. I know C. What was that? I know C. Hold it, wait. G, D. Okay. I'm doing them alphabetically, right? So I know A. I don't know B. I'm just teaching myself that this today, actually. Right? I know C, D, E. I didn't know F, which is this one. F. I knew G, and I knew A. So I didn't know F, which is this one we just went through. Yeah. And I didn't know B, which is a bar chord, apparently. Yeah. So I was like, huh, how about that? I was like, how did I not? So yeah, so that's where I'm at now. How do you, how did you, how did, this is what happens when you teach yourself something, right? There are gaps in your learning, just because you're not on anyone's regimented plan of how to learn something. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get those two chords down and try not to stress it. Uh, is that it? We've been streaming for about 58 minutes. This might be a short one. Every time I say it might be a short one, we spark our knowledge and all of a sudden we're running. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel, helps me. Um, it's funny, we covered the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court was all in the newspaper last week about they were all up in their feelings because people were like, people are being mean to us, but we try really hard. Like, you get it wrong a lot. I know what a grilled cheese sandwich is. I just didn't get the dinner reference. Right? I mean, grilled cheese sandwich and chips for dinner. Grilled cheese sandwich. Question mark. I mean, what is? I mean, I do like grilled cheese sandwiches. Don't get me wrong. Talked about the debt ceiling. The Supreme Court is all up in their feelings. You talked about that. Yes. Yes. That the thing about that movie is it's the first of all, it's a good movie. Mike Judge has a I mean, I watched that movie and it felt like there's a spider up on my ceiling. I watched that movie and it felt like an instant classic because a lot of people kind of didn't see it. Um, it didn't feel like Joe Dirt. It felt different, especially the first like 10 minutes of him explaining why there's more stupid people in the world than smart people. And it was essentially it's a primal call for why, right? Who's Brando? Brondo. Let's look up that. What's a Brondo? Ugh, no, so much. I don't know any of the characters' names. Wow. Was featured in 2006 dystopian comedy interacts ever tried, Bruno? It's a standard fare energy drink. Save if they actually made an energy drink out of it. That right there, Jess. I guess that's an opportunity because the whole movie was about brands and shit, right? So, the face mask. That's pretty good. The thirst mutilator. I'm gonna have to watch that movie again. I wonder if it's hold it. Where can we watch this again if we wanted to? Idiocracy. Okay, so I don't know what voodoo is. Oh, you can watch it for free on YouTube. Huh. Get out of here. Let's click on it. Sign up to confirm age. I guess you can. Favorite documentary. Uh, yeah, I guess you can watch it on YouTube. Guys, watch it on YouTube. It's totally worth it. That's amazing. Dude, I think you just like I was watching The Monkey King on Netflix again. Um but I may pause that. What was I watching yesterday? The idea, I remember growing up and having uh WHT, right, which was like the first iteration of cable. It was called Wametco Home Theater, WHT, right? I think it was a Northeast thing. And then uh, they went away, and then we got HBO, and HBO was its own thing, right? And then somehow they began to give you package, and you had all this shit with it. And now not now, but then like years later, people are like, I don't want all these other things. I just want this station. Like I used to be able to get this station, and now everything is shattered again, right? It reminds me sort of when they broke up. Was it American Steel with the Rockefellers, where he was the richest dude in the world, and then they were like, "You've got a monopoly." They made him break up his giant company, and then he ended up with like 10 small giant companies and it made him even richer, right? It was a better financial move for him to pick up his companies, even though he didn't want to. Uh, and this is what strikes me is that, like, I think all the platforms that they call them, right? Like HBO and like yeah, that's been around forever. But HBO is owned by Warner Brothers now, and Warner Brothers is an old and giant media house. HP HBO. Ugh. Is an American paid television network owned by Warner Media Studios and a flagship property of the namesake parent subsidiary home box office. Charles Dolan founded it in 1972. It was a giant thing by like 1977. HBO is available without a TV package at the HBONow.com for $14.99 a month. Isn't that $14.99 a month a TV package? Ugh, yeah. All right, so that there you have it, boys and girls. Um, yeah, Viacom is owned by Fox now. Isn't Viacom Fox? No, Viacom is Sumner Redstone, CBS. Right, Sumner Redstone is CBS. Viacom. Owners have 80% voting power. See, this is the magic. She's got 20 owners, right? So does that mean she has 20% of stock? He, founder Sherry Redstone. Sherry Redstone is not the founder. She's the daughter of the founder, who is this guy, Sumner Redstone, who's dead now, August 20, 2020. Yeah. How'd you get this wrong? Founder. Founded December 4th, 2019. Wait a minute. What happened here? National Amusement. Viacom. So wait, when you merge something, you get to call it a new founding? That sounds weird to me. I guess it is different though. Is American different to multinational? There's your problems right there with America, the multinationals. The company operated over 170 networks, primarily 70 million subscribers in 580 countries as of 2019. Okay. Corporation formed through the merger of CBS incarnation of CBS Corporation and the second incarnation of Viacom. The second incarnation of Viacom? Viacom, CBS Corporation, Viacom, spun off Viacom logo. Divisions: Paramount Pictures, CBS Entertainment, Viacom, CBS Domestic, Media Networks, Viacom, CBS, International, Viacom Streaming, Viacom Global, Distribution, blah, 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 blah. Subsidiaries: Bellator, MMA, Simon and Schuster. Getting them both. You're getting the meatheads with the MMA and the bookworms with Simon and Schuster. And then there's VidCon, which is supposed to be like a YouTube thing that they're trying to get going on, right? And the old Westinghouse logo. Wow. Let's look up VidCon. Uh, is this thing still a thing? 11 years ago, organized independent, 2010 to 2018, 2018 to 2019, 2019 to present. So they sold it, I want to say. Online video influencers. Right. It's these two. All right. Viacom acquired VidCon in February 2018. Three conferences were canceled due to COVID-19. So it looked like they sold it just in time. The first VidCon was held on July 9th to 11th, 2010 at the Hyatt Regency Century Plaza Hotel in Los Angeles and sold out in advance with over 1,400 people attending. Viacom acquired VidCon in 2018, so it was independent for 8 years. Uh, three consecutive uh, three conferences were canceled in 2020 due to COVID-19 pandemic, and it says the online programming known as VidCon now became available for registration. Now, it would host its next year's conference. What did it do though? Is a multi-general tech conference held in Southern California, 2010, currently organized by originally Hank Tom Green of the Vlog Brothers YouTube channel. The convention is one of the largest of its kind, gathering thousands of online video viewers, creators, and industry representatives. So people make videos and they show up here at like a festival. Is this what you're telling me? Currently organized by okay, originally conceived by these two guys. We all know YouTube. The convention is one of the okay. It doesn't tell me what the convention does though. All right. Well, there you have it. Doesn't tell me what the convention is doing. Uh. Well, it's we thought Viacom was gone, but apparently Viacom is not gone. Viacom is now CBS. Like these giant companies, they never die. They never fade away. They just become something else. Um, look at what's the network? MSNBC, right? They NBC spun off to internet with Microsoft and became a a, a streaming, well, quite frankly, a streaming channel, right? About 15 years ago. Um, how many NBCs do you need? Well, we definitely need one for the media, right? We're going to say the same thing, but we're going to push it to a new platform, and that's what it is. Like I was watching Hoda Kotb, give me this fucking woman, right? So she's got a she does the morning show, right, on NBC, the Today Show, and now she had the blog where she was talking about join my blog. I will be interviewing in it, and I was like, you interview people in the morning, and why do you need a blog? So you do it at work, and now you for your fun time. You do no, it's another outlet for work. It's not really your blog so much as it's someone said we can make more money. You've got another 2 hours in a day that we can sell lipstick to people on. What is her pie going to be about? Oh, look, I made breakfast like I do on my morning show. Oh, look, let me tell you how being hard being a mom is. A 50-year-old woman who runs out and adopts an infant. You know, America sells people's babies to people. They really do. Under the guise that children, need home. And that's true. But if you didn't attack some of these families, they could raise their own kids. And you didn't have to give them to these old rich ladies like Hoda Kotb, in my opinion. Just my humble opinion. Um, let's look up what her show's about. Hoda podcast. I'm sure it's going to be like making space with Hoda on Apple Podcasts. Making space. Oh, guys, this is awesome. Where do you draw your strength? Join today's Hoda Kotb on a journey of self-discovery. Wait, I thought she was doing self-discoveries in the morning. Self-discovery and resilience of the human spirit. Like these people, like they're monks who grew up in like these spiritual places, and they're not that. They're fucking the hosts. They're TV hosts. Hoda hears from some of those people she admires most and whose stories of personal triumph keep her going. Like Hoda, you learn you what does it say? You'll leave these talks stronger than when you started. Wow, 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 wow. And she's got this bullshit grin. She's always happy. She's grinning like you know. I guess you would be grinning. How much is she making? She's ridiculous. How much does Hoda Kotb? Because I mean, you make like I want to say minimum $3 million to sit at that desk in the mornings, right? Minimum. So and what's his name was making like 50. Uh, how besides the morning show hosts in U.S. range from 18,000 to 86,000 with the median. Morning show hosts, really? Morning show hosts make between 48,000 and morning show hosts. Oh, yeah, I think you're talking about locals, right? Like, nah, in New York, those morning people are making a ton. I'm talking about what would you call them? What would you call them? How much does today's show hosts make? Nope. Here we go. How much are these people making? Doesn't say. Did I miss it? Huh. Normally you just tell us. All right, so let's go. Oh, it says she makes 8 million a year. She makes 30 million a year. Earned 8 million salary annually on her hands. Never estimated 30 million as of 2018. So she makes 8 million a year. Our broker, how much she making? 60. Has a net worth of $70 million. He's a newsman. I'm just, yeah, no, you say what you say for money, and I'm completely exhausted with everything being wrong. But you sitting here telling me that you want to make sure that I live my best life and all this bullshit. You know who's living their best life? You are, by lying to me. Woo! I have to put more water in this. Um, yeah, he shows up for like 3 minutes a day, says something smug, and then makes 8 million a year. All right. Um, it's weird, man. I mean, you really want the truth, but then these people are supposed to be. They say what they say. I've said this forever. They say what they say for access to like the rich and powerful, and they get it. And then everything eventually, if the floor that we built here can handle 100,000 pounds of BS, right? As you put it in teaspoon by teaspoonful, I think we're about at that point. Like nothing lasts forever, right? And something has got to give. Something has got to give. I just think that too many people are suffering in this country, and TV people always tell you a new group to blame or some side thing to look at. Now it's Britney Spears. I don't look, and by the way, you're asking all the wrong questions about Britney Spears. This is not her first moment being like, being odd in public. That's fine. But, if you so much care, like you say, why was she on Broadway when she should have been in a mental home or with her nurse, right? And now you're talking about like just following her around with her new boyfriend, husband, going back to the clubs. Like, oh, so wait, what? So is she mentally ill? Why is she at the clubs? You people are like, it's like we want her to be free so we can follow her around to her eventual suicide or arrest or whatever. When a celebrity goes like sideways, and then we want to go, oh, Britney, we loved her so much. If she dies or if she get arrested, we knew Britney Spears was a fucking hot mess. Look what Britney Spears is doing now on page 12 or whatever. Uh, and it's that. It's just kind of like, ugh. I'm tired of dumbass politicians and mainstream media. I want you want to put Fauci in the face. Hey, we don't talk about. Uh, but Fauci is not one of my favorite people, but we don't talk about him here. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. He's one of those guys where I think he's a political appointee. Um, and he says what political appointees say. All I know is the Democrats, the last time we were in this position, Obama was president. And the Democrats had better do fucking something other than going, well, we have the House and we have the Senate, we have the presidency, but we're going to try and bring the Democrats, the Republicans along. And then we saw what the Republicans did, right? When you tried to like hold your hand out, they seal your president, your Supreme Court nominee, and they totally like just kind of like what my mother would say, show their ass in public, right? So now you have the same thing. What you should do is just rush through what you want to rush through and say, damn the torpedoes, as the old movie quote was. What is that? So yeah, Clarence Thomas' surprise question suggests Supreme Court balance of power is shifting. What? What was the question? That whole headline is stupid. And the Supreme Court balance of power shifted because there are now 7 conservative judges on a court. Six conservative judges and three. So they've got a 2-to-1 odd. Yeah, yeah. I mean that whole crime because she had to vote present on the Iron Dome thing is typical BS political nonsense. But we said it, right? She wants to stay there. She was a, you know, she wants to stay in Congress. It's a good gig. So now she's got to start playing ball with the craptastic people there, and she's trying to walk this line where it doesn't look like she's got bought off by them. Uh, but she's like, yeah, that whole vote, she should have just voted no. What is present bullshit? Um, and I said it before, Trump should be able to like say whatever the fuck he wants. It's America. The fact that they all sort of like uh arrayed to make sure that he can't even talk to the public is crazy. Is this would be politics? Would it be business? U.S. world? Joe Biden? Da, 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 da. Really? They don't have a politics section. Just U.S. New Jersey man seen in viral video making racist tirade against neighbor faces 22 charges. We got to read that because I mean, look, you don't need a gun or a bad arrested for doing shit. Your way about you, Kevin Scott Peterson, resentenced to life. He's still fighting it out in court 50 years later. This is what you do when you murder somebody. Your whole life becomes legal word games to try and get back out on the street, and it never happens. Oh, 22 charges. If the 22 misdemeanors, that's going to be a large chunk of your time, man. A New Jersey man who was filmed going on a racist tirade over the 4th of July, you piece of shit. 4th of July weekend is facing 22 charges against him, including bias, intimidation, and harassment, stemming from 6 separate incidents. Oh my God, he kept doing it between 2016 and 2021. Edward Matthews, 45, of Mount Laurel, New Jersey, was filmed on July 2nd getting into an argument with an African American neighbor, uh, African American neighbor, excuse me. Matthews was arrested on July 5th after protests together outside of his home in the days after the encounter. Matthews can be heard in the amateur video yelling at the man and confronting him as he says, back up, while the man repeatedly says not to touch him. Matthews then tells the man that it's not Africa. And if you were born in America, then you know what common ground is. Okay. Burlington County prosecutor's office said that the police were aware of Matthew from the prior complaint lodged against him, and especially from racially charged incidents that happened last year, including one where he reportedly damaged a car and left a threatening note. Let's swap these out so you can see what I'm reading. Damaged a car and left a threatening note. Matthews, there should be a space there, guys. I'm just saying. Matthews had reportedly forced the neighbor's friend to leave the area after a racist incident, according to police. He made somebody leave the area. Whew. During the protest at Matthews' house, a number of demonstrators were arrested after allegedly causing damage to the property and exhibiting violent behavior. Okay, that makes sense. Like throwing rocks, spitting, and using pepper spray. Wait, spitting is violent behavior? Did he spit on somebody? Because spitting on somebody is assault, causing damage to the property and exhibiting violent behavior. Spitting is not violent behavior. Um, Matthew reportedly had 43 complaints registered against him back in 2016. Many of the protesters were reportedly upset at Mount Laurel Police Department's handling of the incident. Everybody is not feeling the cops. No matter where you are, your protest is not feeling the cops' handling of the incident. Handling of the incident, and in particular, felt the department had shown Matthews favoritism. An independent investigation into these accusations did not implicate the department, of course not. With broader perspective on the situation, in the community, the MLPD might have been able to devise an effective solution and brought relief to the residents Matthews had victimized sooner than his July 2nd arrest. The prosecutor said in a statement, in regard to the independent investigation, the office said that they empathize, excuse me, this is a new mouth, empathize with the residents of Essex Place who were on the receiving end of Matthews' conduct. No one should have to endure racist harassment anywhere, but especially not in their own neighborhood and even in their own home, said one of the prosecutors. The investigation reportedly came to the conclusion that the MLPD, we've got something like this going on here in Virginia right now. MLPD views Matthews' conduct on a singular basis, and they did not view him as a larger problem in the community, despite the number of complaints against him. Ah, Matthews has since apologized and admitted that he was drunk at the time of the racist rant, but there was multiple of them. Of the racist rant occur, I cannot apologize enough. I was drunk. I was out of line. I let my anger get the best of me. He told the Philadelphia-based news station WPVI TV the 22 charges are now against him now await presentation to a grand jury. Wow, huh? 22 counts. Yeah, I would be sorry too and want this just to all go away. Because 22 counts of a misdemeanor. A misdemeanor means you can get up to a year in jail, right? And a felony means a year or more. So a felony means you have to do at least 366 days in jail, right? So if you got 22 misdemeanors and you're found guilty of all of them, and some guy wants to be a dick, he can sentence you half of those concurrent and half consecutive, right? That's 11 years. He can send you to all of them consecutive, and that's 22 years. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. All right, so what were we reading? People are ridiculous. And as I understand it, there's a statute of limitation on everything but rape and murder, right? So, but the statute of limitation is like 7 years, right? Rob that bank, take all that money, no one knows you did it. I think it's yours up until the IRS comes for their share, right? Because then they'll put you in jail by saying, "Well, you got it that back then. That's when you should have told us about it." Right? But yeah, if you got away with all this money out of the state treasury or whatever, I'm sure there's a special law about them that uh, if you robbed my gas station of all this money, as long as you didn't shoot anybody, and nobody has to know that you did it, right? If I know you did it, a warrant goes out for you, and then you're just uh, absconding from justice for 10 or 20 or 30 years. But if no one knows you did it, and there's no evidence and you did it, and then you can 10 years later you can go, oh yeah, I robbed that place clean and this is how I did it. And I mean, theoretically, my thoughts on Tulsi Gabbard. All right. I like Tulsi Gabbard. Um, but I don't think she's serious. I think her moment was, let's think of good old Tulsi, right? She had a couple of things working for her. She was a military vet, everybody liked that. She was a Hawaiian hottie, everybody liked that. Um, but she didn't have a constituency, right? Her constituency then was in Hawaii. Excuse me. So you didn't even have enough people to show up for a protest or an endorsement of you on the mainland, right? Like somebody might drive like from Jersey or Connecticut or up from Florida if they're feeling Trump, right? But nobody was going to do that for Tulsi. Nobody's got, you know what I'm saying? And then she came out for I want to say big corporations, Tulsi Gabbard. But I took my eyes off her. Is she trending? She's not trending. Leader in our country lost sight of the mission of Afghanistan. Well, yeah, she's coming. She's talking to Fox News now. A lot of Fox News stuff. 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 17 hours ago. Yeah, I think they lost track because there was money to be had in Afghanistan. Yeah, she was right. Yeah, I mean that whole Kamala Harris interaction. I mean, now you got one of what we call the vice president, one of the most powerful officers in the land, right? Everybody keeps saying you can't do anything with it, but it's right next to the fucking president, right? You get your own plane and your own stuff. And well, you get to do three things. You get to break ties, right, in the White House, in the Senate. What actually power elite corruption with media to eliminate rivals who challenge them. Dereliction of duty. Tulsi Gabbard blasts FBI role for Larry Nassar abuse. And she's talking about now. She's talking about Larry Nassar. She's sort of all over the place. She's trying to stay relevant. Tulsi Gabbard 3 weeks ago. Tulsi Gabbard calls out Islamic violence. Really, way to go out on a limb. Um, I think she would have made a good vice president. I really do. I really do. But I don't think she was going to be president. And from I hate to say it, but in office January 2nd, 2011 to August 6th, 2020. What? Hold on. She was in office from January 13th. So she was a senator for like a congresswoman for 4 terms, right? She won 4 elections. 2013 to 2021. That's 2 years shy, and each term is 2 years. And she's young. She's 40, right? She's one of those Obama politicians. Everybody wants to be under like 50 by the time they run for the big chair. She's a military major. God bless her. Yeah, I'm in Leola Ma'aupa County on the American Samoan island of Tutulia. She was born on an island in the American Samoa. At the age of 20, Gabbard dropped out of Leeward Community College, which she was studying television production to successfully run for Hawaii State Legislature. At 21, all right. Graduate at Hawaii Pacific University with Bachelor in Science and Business Administration with a concentration in international business. All right. 2002 to 2004, 2011 to 2012, Honolulu City Council, United States House of Representative, 8 years. Yeah, her constituency is super tiny, and it's in the North Atlantic presidential logo. I don't even know who told her she should run for office to be president, right? I think some of these people do it to kind of like swallow up space, essentially. I want you to run that way. All these other people who are more of a threat run. Gabby at the tomb of the unknown soldier in Arlington, right? Every time she had to come back from Hawaii, that's a 12-hour trip. Meanwhile, drive over from 90 minutes. A person like Gabbard is a vegan. Yep, nope. And Hindu. All right. Follows Gwandiva Vaishnavism. She describes herself as a karma yogi. She values the Bhagavad Gita. I read the Bhagavad Gita a trillion years ago. Didn't get a lot out of it. It's a 700 verse Hindu scripture that is part of the epic Mahabharata, dating back to the second half of the first millennium BCE, and exemplary for the emerging Hindu synthesis. It's considered to be one of the holy scriptures of Hinduism. I wonder where that book is. I didn't get a lot out of it. I hate to say it. As a spiritual guide and took the oath of office using her personal copy, which she gave to Prime Minister Narendra Modi on a later visit to the United States. And so she gave her personal uh, Bhagavad Gita to a foreign leader. Okay, she married Edward Tomeo. They divorced in 2006. So the stress is war placed on military spouse and family as the reason for the divorce. Everybody's got a million marriages. All right, can't knock you for it. I don't know. I mean, why? I mean, why would she drop being a Democrat? And yeah, she was treated like shit in the Democratic Party, but the Democratic Party is at war with itself, and she may very well still be proven right. Right? There's a lot of people who don't like the old guard, so she may, and she's young. She's like we just said 40, so she may have she may have legs on this thing. Um, and don't get it wrong. I mean, when she was running, I said she had no constituency. And all her constituents was too far to really be active, right? A small constituency of Hawaii, essentially. But now she has name recognition, which I mean, she's almost has the same problem. What's that woman from Alaska had? Sarah Palin, right? Almost the same thing. But then Sarah Palin uh, eventually got a constituency. Um, yeah, I think she may. Yeah, I mean, I think she may yet win this thing. Yes, Hillary said that she was a Russian plant. Hillary says everybody's a Russian plant. Remember, Hillary's from the generation of people who she was 20 or 30 when all these people in the 60s were anti-hippies, anti-Black Panthers, everybody they were saying everybody was a communist or a socialist plant and all this shit, right? Just to keep their way and not have change. And Hillary's now doing the same thing these years later from the same playbook of calling people Russian agents, and she sued her. So, I mean, we're gonna see how that plays out because um, Gifford sues Clinton for Russian plant accusation. Let's see what we got here. Gabbard over Russian asset smear, January 22nd, 2020. Tells the Gabbard sues Hillary Clinton for $50 million. Hillary Clinton suggests Russians are quote unquote grooming Tulsi Gabbard, October 21, 2019. And then Tulsi Gabbard sues Hillary Clinton January 22, 2020. So she sued her 5 months later. The Hillary Clinton Tulsi Gabbard feud explained. Do we even want to read that? This is October 12th. Hold it, wait. This is October. Oh, stop it. This is October 22nd. Where is this? Hillary Clinton says this is October 21st. All right, so they wrote this a day after she said that. Did Tulsi Gabbard lose her? No, she decided not to run again. So she didn't lose her seat. She decided not to run again. 50 million. Do we want to read one of these stories? Let's keep checking the chat. I hope she drops out of being a Democrat. I don't think she's going to do that. I think in a few short years she's going to be sitting in the catbird seat. I remember that. I remember that. Oh, okay. Do we want to talk about Andrew Yang? Andrew Yang strikes me as a grand opportunist. Um, Now he's going to start his own party. Um, yeah, I don't. Andrew Yang is becoming because first of all, remember he got famous by this whole "give you your money back" thing, and I said George Bush did it, right? Um, Donald Trump just did it, gave you money back, right? Um, it does something to people. It really does. So him giving telling you basic income, giving you money back, it was his only thing that got him. It got him sort of name recognition. Everybody likes free money, but after that, what did he have? He was the same as everybody else. He really was. And I don't think he's as clever as he thinks. I see Andrew Yang is problematic all over the place. Tulsi Gabbard sues Hillary Clinton for alleged Russian asset smear in 2020 Democratic presidential contest, claiming 50 million in damages. All right. Democratic presidential candidate Rep. Tulsi Gabbard sued former Secretary Hillary Clinton for allegedly defaming her by the section of Congresswoman from Hawaii is a Russian asset. Clinton false assertions are made in a deliberate attempt to derail Tulsi Gabbard's campaign, said the lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court in Manhattan. Sued her in Manhattan, where she lives. Clinton, who was 2016 Democratic presidential nominee, has said in an interview that an unnamed Democratic presidential candidate was a favorite of the Russians. She did not mention Gabbard by name. So, I remember someone asking her about this. Clinton was President Special Counsel Robert Clinton. The suit claims Gabbard suffered actual damages. False assertion. Okay, hold it. If she didn't mention you by name, how do you get to sue her? This is where I'm lost at. Democratic presidential candidate Rep. Gabbard sued former President Hillary Clinton on Wednesday for allegedly defaming her by stretching Mark Clinton. False assertion made filed in U.S. District Court in Manhattan. The actual damage 50 million counting from Clinton's comment, but the suit does not cite specific amount of damages seeking. Clinton, whose preview was a senator from New York, said in October interview that an unnamed Democratic presidential candidate was the favorite of the Russians. Yeah, she's so shitty. Clinton did not mention Gabbard, a four-term congresswoman, by name in the interview with the podcast campaign HQ David Plouffe. Plouffe is also a fucking Clintonite. Bill Clinton's spokesman Nikki Morrell said after the interview that if the nesting doll fits, yeah, this is your fucking answer. When asked if she had been referring to Gabbard, who is also a major in the American National Guard and a combat veteran of Iraq. The balls on her! Oh my God. Merrill later said in a tweet that Clinton was referring to the Republican Party grooming Gabbard. Now the Republican Party is grooming Gabbard. All right. Merrill later said in a tweet, he just said if the doll fits, right? Merrill later said in a tweet, because I'm pretty sure they sat around and her lawyer was like, I don't think you can say that about an American major, right? Merrill later said in a tweet that Clinton was referring to the Republican Party grooming Gabbard. But it is Russians, not the GOP, who are known for making nesting or Matryoshka dolls. Clinton, wife of President Bill Clinton, lost the 2016 election to Republican Donald Trump. Also lost the 2012 election to Barack Obama. I'm sorry, 28 election to Barack Obama. So she ran twice and lost twice. Usually you get two runs at this thing when you're that high up and you lose. Who's John Kerry got two runs at it. McCain got two runs at it. Dole got two runs at it. I think McCain actually might have gotten three runs at this thing. The report by Special Counsel Rob Mueller, as well as the probe by the Senate Intelligence Committee, have found both that the Russians agent tried to damage Clinton's candidacy and that they tried to promote a third-party candidacy of the Green Party nominee Jill Stein in order to harm Clinton's chances of winning the White House. Yeah, that's not on the people. That's on y'all for letting that happen. When asked about the suit, Merrill told NBC News on Wednesday, that's ridiculous. The suit suggests that Clinton smeared Gabbard with a false accusation in retribution for Gabbard's endorsement of Vermont Independent Senator Bernie Sanders. In 2016, in his 2016 candidacy for the Democratic presidential nomination, he also ran. Sanders also ran twice, right? However, your president Joe Biden ran, I want to say, 3 times. And the last time he was picked to be the vice president. So, I mean, the American people are just getting shafted on our leadership here. Clinton, Sanders, Clinton, a cutthroat politician by any account, has never forgotten his perceived slight, said Gabbard's suit, which also names a Congresswoman presidential campaign committee as a plaintiff. Clinton lied about her perceived rival for reasons that could include personal animus, political enemy, personal animus, political enmity. It's not. It's in. Come on. It's not enmity. It's enmity. It's enmity. Enmity. I thought it was okay. Here we go. E-N. Enmity.
Enmity. Enmity. Enmity.
Enmity. Enmity. Enmity. Enmity. All right. Personal animus and political enmity, or fear of real change within a political party. Clinton and her allies have long, Clinton lied about the perceived rival for reasons that could include personal animus, political enmity, or fear of real change within a political party Clinton and her allies have long dominated. This is true. Clinton did not Clinton did so publicly, unambiguously, and with obvious malice intent, the suit claimed. January 22nd. Watch one of her friends. They put a lot of judges on it, throw it out. Here's the thing about these things. If a new people come in and look through the books and find that you took money and you were a piece of shit, they can arrest you. This is why you don't want new people in. This is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're all most of those chicks on the View are Clinton Knights, right? A lot of them, a lot of them. April Parlor CEO says service drop at every vendor and could end his business. It's time for America to unite. Go kick rocks. To unite around me. Unite around me so I can get what I want. Because fuck what you want. I'm so tired of Joe Biden. I really am just so incredibly tired of Joe Biden. Yeah, you fail upward in America when you're like connected to money and you're a loser. He did, and so did George W. I want to see what if there was anything else on this. I guess not. I'm sure her friends will fix it. They'll come out with a settlement. It'll be like $100,000, and someone will promise her some bullshit down the line. But remember, Hillary Clinton released that picture of Obama in that Muslim garb. It's like his version of a Muslim quinceanera, I guess, right? When he's like 16, and she's like, "Oh, look, he's a secret member of ISIS." That's Hillary Clinton. That's Hillary Clinton. Um, Allegedly, she released it. Man, I really gotta work on my typing. EA. Yeah, this photo. Right. So this photo, Clinton aides claimed this photo of Obama wasn't intended as a smear. Right. So do we remember this, guys? Oh, we'll look her up in a second. Barack Obama, right, is dressed as a Somali elder by Sheikh Mohammed Hassan left during his visit to Wajir in northeastern Kenya near the border with Somalia and Ethiopia. Oh, it was in 2006. I thought it was much younger. All right. Barack Obama's campaign team today. What year is this? February 2008, right? This is 6 months before the election. She's so sinister. Remember, they were like, and like at the end of it, she was like, "Well, maybe you can get both of us." Remember that, implying that I'll be president, he'll be my president, my vice president. Everyone will be happy. And they were like, "Ah!" All these women cheered. All the same women who were crying when she didn't win in uh, against Trump in 2016. All those were the women cheering. Like, and he was like, "I'm not trying to be your fucking. I'm winning here. I'm not trying to no, right?" And it's that kind of she sends up these kites for you to kind of bow to while she does this sinister shit around you, right? These in runs around you. Let's read the story. David Pluff, he's so just Barack Obama's campaign today accused Hillary Clinton's beleaguered staff of mounting a desperate, dirty trick operation by circulating a picture of him in African dress, feeding into false claims on U.S. website that he is a Muslim. What is it? What would they call him? Not a quiet Muslim. A hidden Muslim. Like he was. He was there to invade the country. She's so sinister. Obama's campaign manager, David Plouffe, described it as the most shameful, offensive fear mongering we've seen from either party in this election. Obama, I mean, she's saying she's for all this stuff, but now she's selling you racism. It's really what this was, right? And also, uh, or like um, religious racism, quite frankly, right? What are all the Muslims going to do or what are all the Christians going to do with this Muslim print? What are the Jews going to do with this Muslim print, right? I mean, yeah, Obama's campaign manager stressing, and then they keep bringing her out like none of this shit ever happens. And now people are finally sick of seeing her. And I think the American media is getting the message about that. Um, okay, we've been streaming for an hour and 50 minutes. Let's get through this one. Obama had to spend much of his campaign stressing he is a Christian, not a Muslim, and did not study at a madrasa. Aides for Miss Clinton, who is fighting a last-ditch battle to keep her hopes of the White House alive, initially tried to brush off the Führer, but later denied having anything to do with the distribution of the picture. So her first tactic was, "Oh, y'all are making a mountain out of a molehill, hoping that it'll go away." When it wouldn't go away, then she had to address it, and she tried to sort of like dust off my shoulder kind of thing. It's just a picture. No, I didn't say it, So let's finish. Belair denied having anything. She lied, having anything to do with the distribution of the picture. We had the picture. We didn't give it to people. How did they get it then? I just want to make it very clear that we were not aware of it. The campaign didn't sanction it and don't know anything about it. Clinton spokesperson Howard Wolfson told reporters. None of us have ever seen the email in question. Mm-hmm. Obama and Clinton go to the polls in Texas and Ohio primaries next week. If Clinton loses either, her bid for the Democratic nomination could be over. The picture showing Obama in a turban during a visit to Kenya in 2006 first appeared in the Drudge Report. Drudge Report is a right-wing wag in the Drudge Report today. The site said it's circulated by Clinton staffers and quoted one saying, "Wouldn't we be seeing this on the cover of every magazine if it were Clinton?" They're probably like, if it was her. The picture was taken when Obama went on a visit to Africa as a senator. Oh, he was a senator. Obama, whose father was a king, and visited the woods here in Kenya, northeast, close to Somali and Ethiopian borders, and was dressed by locals as a Somali elder because he was an American senator. It makes perfectly fucking good sense. The only people who can do this kind of shit, apparently, uh, are Catholics, right? If you go to Rome, you can wear their finery and stuff. If you go to Israel, right, women have to wear veils and shit. At the well, no, women aren't allowed to go to the Wailing Wall. So as American, right? So we cop to this shit. But if you happen to be a Muslim and you do one of these, I don't know, ancient. I'm about to call it bullshit. I don't mean to call it bullshit. Ancient rituals. All of a sudden, people back here in America, which has a giant racial history of getting weird shit done by sinister people, by telling the public, you know, some fearful thing about a group, it's still in play. It's still in play. All right, and he was a fucking senator. It's even worse. I thought he was a teenager, dude, but no, he was a senator. The Clinton team hit back at the criticism today, saying Obama's team had turned the picture into so now they're the victims of the thing they did, and they're now blaming the people who had a problem with it as being as using this against them. They're using the outrage of this against us, and it's just so shitty. The Clinton team hit back at the criticism, saying Obama's team had turned the picture into a row to distract attention from foreign policy speech she gave today. She's always a victim of men. The Obama campaign repeatedly claimed they had been the target of a dirty trick by the Clinton team. A senior member of her staff, Bill Sheehan, had to resign last year after raising Obama's admitted use of marijuana and cocaine as a youth. A junior staffer resigned in December after forwarding an email suggesting Obama is a Muslim. In the South Carolina primary last month, Bill Clinton made race an issue. See, these are the Democrats, all these black people who keep you in fucking power, right? And now you're doing this. I remember this because all these, not all these, there was no black senators. He was at the time he was the only one, but there's a ton of black congressmen in all these power bases like New York and in South Carolina, right, who vote for you. And now you're playing race games to get the like. Don't worry about it. When we win this, we'll give you what a fucking pony. What was your end game here? And I think this was the beginning of like this slide in the Democratic Party with how invested people feel that the people in the party are with their needs, right? So I said this. I wasn't going to vote for Hillary in this, and I was like, I'll sit this bitch out before I vote for her. And her position was, who else are you going to vote for, right? uh, you got a bad voting history with racism. Oh, how dare you not vote? Your ancestors want you to vote, and you got to vote for me. So your argument only is ever self-serving. Whereas I will sit this bitch out. Like I told people, yeah, it's your right to vote or your right to stay home. You get to do either one of those now. Yeah, Hillary Clinton she's just the worst. A junior staffer. I mean, Bill Clinton brought race up twice, if I remember correctly. However, the tactic was widely believed to have contributed to a backlash against the Clintons among Democratic voters. Yeah, I just said that. Uh, Plouffe describes. Come on, man. Here we go. Oh, sorry. Where is it? Here it is. Democratic voters. Plouffe described the circulation of the picture as part of this disturbing pattern. It's exactly the kind of divisive politics that turns away Americans of all parties, he said. Yeah, it really is putting a dagger in a large part of your own constituency who are race sensitive, and you claim to be on their side with it, and then you use it. Yeah, and climate issues now because of this. Yeah. So the Plug comment suggests that the cordial. Oh, hold on. Plove described the circular's picture as a disturbing pattern. It's exactly the kind of divisive policy that turns away Americans of all parties, he said. Plove's comments suggest that the cordial relationship that existed between Obama and Clinton last Thursday's television debate in Texas was unlikely to carry on into tomorrow night's debate. Yeah, you want to be evil? I'm going to be evil. I'm not going to be polite. Yeah. The Obama team wheeled out Scott Gratian, a retired Air Force general and Obama supporter, who was with a senator in Kenya to explain the picture. He said Senator Obama was giving an outfit as a guest that he was the great guest. He took this outfit and they encouraged him to try some of it on. It was a thing we all do. Maggie Williams, campaign manager for Clinton, played down the significance of the picture. Now all of a sudden it's more problems for you than necessary. So now you gotta act like it's not really a thing because you got caught lying, you got caught playing these games. Now you just want the fucking thing to go away. If if the Barack Obama's campaign wants to suggest that a photo of him wearing traditional Somali clothing is divisive, they should be ashamed. See that? Hillary Clinton has traditional clothing of countries she had visited and had those photos published widely. You see the double, triple talk you get if you are not careful talking to people? Because I have an ear for this because I just have to interrogate people and you'll talk to them for like 40 minutes and they'll say one thing in the first 5 minutes, it'll become slightly different in like the 30th and 40 minute. You know, you're like, that's not what you said, right? All of it leans itself to where, and some people are better at finding this than me. And when I'm saying I'm generally at the scene doing this shit, I'm not like, so yeah, it's and here's the thing. They're not even good at the dirty tricks anymore, right? The old fashion style of this is it was smooth. It didn't look so rickety and awkward. Look, here's I drive fast, right? There are two ways to drive fast. Right? You can keep the speed up and your passengers, it can't be hard on them. They might be like wigged out by the speed and stuff, But you can't like be jamming on the brakes and like taking corners where people are spilling stuff. That's a hard, fast drive. Nobody likes that. It looks like you don't know what you're doing. Um, but there's a way to do these things sort of gracefully. Do I think the witch is dead? She just went to Scotland and got called a war criminal and got booed there. Scotland. So yeah, I think the word is out on her. Right. It's one thing to say, oh, your own people, but oh look, we've got this president from America who's and now other people in other places are going boo, you suck. Right. Barack Obama's campaign wants to suggest that a photo of him wearing traditional Somali clothing is divisive. They should be ashamed. It's on them. Hillary Clinton has worn the traditional clothing of countries she has visited and had those photos published widely. Fearless, investigative journalist shaped fair world at the Guardian. Yeah. Uh-huh. This article is 13 years old. So let's get a look at this outfit. Look at him. Look. Yeah. And then you have to fucking play nice with her as president. I wouldn't have played nice with her. Right? And then her thing was, okay, after 8 years of this, I'm not again. And then here comes here comes Donald Trump. And he completely eats your lunch. Oh, it's such a thing. Yeah, Clyburn did say Biden. I hope she's dead. God, she needs to go away. Deborah Hertzman. All right, so I've never heard of her. Is it Hertzman or Herzman? Herzman. You go. All right, let's see what we got. Hold it first. Before we look at her, let's see if she's in the news for anything. Velodyne Lighter announces appointment of Deborah Hertzman, 2021. This is Deborah Hertzman to leave National Safety Council. I don't know who she is. Is she in the paper? Deborah Hertzman, the board member since Barack Obama, Thomas Jefferson. All right, what do we got here? Deborah A.P. Hirschman is a former board member of the U.S. Transportation Safety Board. She looks familiar to me. She looks like that actress. Well, she's completed 2 terms as the chairwoman was confirmed by U.S. Senate. A former board member of U.S. National Transportation Safety Board who served as its 12th chairman. She completed 2 terms as chairman and was confirmed by U.S. Senate on October 6, 2023 for a third term. On March 11, 2004, she announced she would join the National Safety Council as its president and CEO. She is currently chief safety officer at Waymo. Okay, here's Deborah Herndon with British chair Keith Kindred and Carolyn Griffith. Okay. Why do you think she's going to be president? I don't see anything outstanding about her. Why do you think Deborah Hertzman is going to be president or is going to quit to run for office? I mean, it didn't even say she had any other than being appointed. Uh, yeah, the National Transportation Safety Board, but I don't see why that would qualify her to be president. She should be at the yeah. Oh, you know what she looks like now that I think about it? She looks like the girl from the car commercials. Not Flo, the other one. All right. At least in that it's not Herman. It's hers, man. It's not Herman. It's hers, man. Okay. She looks like Not Flo. Who's the other girl in the car? Woman car spokesperson. I want to say Toyota. Yes, here she is. She looks like her. Hold on. All right, hold on. Wait a minute. Let's put this here and then shrink it and then go here. All right. All right. So we're going to come on. There you go. All right. It's not working. Yeah, they look similar. Ugh, good lord. Okay, close enough. Did I do that again? I did do it again. All right, they that I see. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Let's put this on larger. See, I know you guys think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. They resemble each other ever so slightly, and I think it's not just the bangs are on the same side and the hair is about the same length. It's also the earrings and the color red. I instantly was like, "Oh, I feel like I should buy a car from this woman." Um, let's get this up a little bigger. Whew. Let's put that here. Oop. We'll close this and get this bigger. Oh man, yeah. So she sort of looks like her, but she's going to be a congresswoman. Why is she? Is it because she's the most? It doesn't even say anything about her. Yeah, Air Force, military brat. She was born on the Air Force base. Why does everybody seem to go to George Mason University? All right. I don't know why she would be a congressperson, but okay. I approve. I don't know why. She works for a congresswoman. She works for a congresswoman. It said she was appointed. Well, I guess you got to know somebody. The president just told, "Hey, you over there, I'll appoint you." Someone has to bring you to the president's attention, unless you know the president personally. Well, I'm not saying she's a phony or not, William. I just don't know anything about her to say whether she is or isn't. My what I'm saying is, that's interesting. I wonder why her. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, you said that she worked for a congressman. But that doesn't mean anything. It just means you work for a congressman, right? And sometimes your congress people are you're on their staff and then they promote you up, right? So, like I said, hey, my congressperson, I like you, Mr. President. This person might be good for the NTSB or whatever, and then you get recommended by a congressman, and then you get the gig. I don't know what that actress's name is. I want to say Laura Kopic. What does her shirt say? What does it say? Hold on. Con Con deity? Is that her last name? It's not her last name. Con Connect. It said. Oh, all right. Laura Kopic is an American TV actress. She has starred in movies and TV shows like Two Broke Girls, Crazy Stupid Love, Workaholics, Modern Family, and more. However, she is most famous for playing the role of the Toyota Jane in Toyota commercials. You get a lot of cash for those commercials. If I remember, good lord, she looks bigger on TV. If I remember, this is another thing about them. They got to know your bra size and all this stuff to put you in clothing. They don't need to know this about men. They just need to know your suit size, shirt size, suit size. Yeah. Um, how much experience did Obama have? Well, Obama was a lawyer and a teacher, right? But here's the thing: you don't really need experience to be a politician, right? It's not a. They'll keep telling you that to keep you out and them in, or But you're supposed to be able to just resonate with the populace, and they will put you there, right? So you're not supposed to be a this, that, and or the other thing. You can be a college dropout and be, smart or witty or erudite, or be able to tell the population what you want them to understand and better, and that's it. So you don't get a lot of those people. So you're not really supposed to need experience to be an American politician. Having said that, I mean, it should be a common sense game. Some of this is just running the place uh, into the sewers. So, how much experience did Obama have? Obama was a college professor, then a community organizer. I don't even know what that means, a community organizer. Um, then he ran for state senator and lost. Then he ran for senator and won. Then he was senator for 5 years before he ran for president and won. So Barack Obama's whole political career uh, can be wiped up in like 12 years, not 12 years, like 18 years. From the time he spent 2 terms in the Chicago State House, which is I think 4 years apiece. Then he did one term in the Chicago State House. Because remember, the thing that blew of the doors off for Obama was his speech at the Democratic nominate presidential nominating. Uh, what was it? The Republican, okay, what is it called? When each party nominates the person that they're going to run for the presidency, right? So anyway, he did a speech there, and it essentially put him on the trajectory of president of nothing, and that's exactly what happened. He did nothing, and now he's making a ton of Netflix money. Woo wee! And let's say he's going to be retired for the next 40, 50. How old is he? 50. Let's say he'll be retired for the next 35, 40 years. Yeah, I tell you, it's first it becomes the money, then it's not about the stuff, then it becomes the positioning. And the Clintons have come a long way from Arkansas, right? Now they're worth a stupid amount of money, but they want positioning because somebody can come through and look at what they've done and start charging people with crimes, I guess, um, if they chose to. But we'll see what happens. All right, we have been streaming for 2 hours and battery is low. We have been streaming for 2 hours and 13 minutes. Let's plug this in. Uh, let's close this and cut this off. All right. Uh, the convention, right? Exactly. The Democratic National Convention to nominate. Uh, was it to nominate Clinton? Who did? I thought it wasn't Kerry because Kerry would have been too. Did he nominate Clinton and then run against her 8 years later? Did I miss that? Oh, Obama's DN, it's not DNC. Obama speech at the Democratic National Convention. 2004 DNC. All right. Yeah, 4 years later, he was president. And he had just won that. And if you remember, that whole senatorial thing was a cakewalk because one guy was in it, then he had to drop out for scandal, and then the second guy who was they got was the black guy, and he was just off his fucking meds. He really was. I want to say it's Niger Ennis, right? Who was just saying wild, dumb stuff. Obama's speech at the DNC 2004. All right. I don't want to look. I just want to. Where's the Wikipedia on it? Obama speech. DNC. How about this? DNC 2004. Keynote speech. YouTube Democratic National Convention. 2004. Then junior senator from Illinois delivering a speech. Yeah, it let everybody know he was out there. But who was running for president? The speech that made Obama president, Barack Obama's speech 2004. All right. I don't want to look up YouTube, DNC. I don't want to look up any. Really? You're gonna make me find this. 2004 DNC. Okay, here you go. Yeah, I was right. It's John Kerry. Howard Dean, Wesley Clark. Look at these four. Just an embarrassment. He had to go away because he couldn't control himself. And he's just an old protester from the 60s who became like, let me get myself out of here, who just became sort of legal with, I mean, John Kerry has just, yeah. So John Kerry, John Edwards, he carried 2 states. Howard Dean carried 1, and Wesley Clark carried 1. And then he got it handed to him. All right. Yeah. Yeah. The fact that the thing that came out of that was Barack Obama is really telling. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, she was fired in the Clinton spoke one year. She was fired in the Democratic Party because of, you know, and her husband had some success as president, right? But he also kind of like sold people out. And I do know Eric Adams, and I am for Eric Adams, and I do know Curtis Lewa. I was for Curtis Lewa back when the cops hated him. He's another one who had a turnaround, right? He was like there was too much violence in the subways, and he trained up some neighborhood kids to patrol their neighborhood. The cops hated that because it embarrassed the cops, quite frankly. And they were doing citizens arrest, which we just spoke about. And then he got rich and famous and endorsements, and now he's like a famous New York Republican. He had a TV show, not a TV show, a radio show on for like 15 years, right? And now he's just a city Republican who's always pro cop and pro smacking people around, and no one buys into him anymore. So he's a Republican running for the mayor, but no one's talking about it because it's a Democratic town. Uh, no one's going to vote for him. Eric Adams calls Curtis Lewa a racist as New York City mayor election nears. We asked Curtis Lewa to name all 16 of his cats. The fuck out of here. Yeah, I would say that. Wait, why is Lisa Evers down here? Who was Lisa Evers married to? Wait, Lisa Evers was once married to Curtis Lewa? Really? Ugh, she's a TV and radio host. Yeah. Okay, I think I do remember her. I think she was once in the Black Panthers, and then she married the owner of the Black Panthers. Yeah. Um, what's the news? Should we even read some of this? We're supposed to be getting off it. We've been streaming for 2 hours and 10 minutes. 2 hours and 20 minutes. He talks about getting wooden shampoos from cops. What the fuck is a wooden shampoo? Eric Adams, racist Curtis Stewart is turning New York mayor's election into a circus. He's got to get attention because no one's gonna vote for him, and he's got to let you know that he's still out here. So see why calls for teens to be charged, just all of the teens to be charged as adults. Yeah, all right, Curtis. Man and woman shot, wounded in New York City. Sliwa visits crime scene. Of course he does. Old school policing. What does that mean, Erica? Let's go through this one. Hold on, wait a minute. What is this political one? Let's open two of these. What is this? Adam Laser Sliwa during radio and calling him a racist. All right, let's get both of these. Let's look at this one first. Eric Adams, racist Curtis Sliwa is turning New York City mayor election into a circus. The circus before. Um, is there any doubt before the gloves are now officially off in 2021 race for the next mayor of New York City? Democratic nominee Eric Adams on Tuesday called Republican rival Curtis Sliwa a racist and accused the Guardian Angels founder of turning the general election to succeed a term limited Bill de Blasio into a circus. During an interview on WNYC radio, the Brooklyn Borough president offered some of his harshest words yet for his November 2nd opponent. Wow. Okay. Wow. This is a little less than a month away. October 2nd, and today's the 6th. Okay, so this is like 27 days away. Democrat nominee RM called Republican rival and the Blasio during an interview on the Brooklyn Borough president offered some of his harshest word yet for his November 2nd opponent, saying the GOP contender has been leading voice of being a racist. He's not wrong. I dedicate my life as a police officer for 22 years to fighting against the systematic racism that exists and just really how we perceive everyday New Yorkers. And so it's difficult for Curtis to talk about systemic racism because he has been a leading voice of being a racist. Okay. The former NYPD captain said on the Brian Lair show when asked about his opponent's perspective on 9 FDNY members who were suspended for sending racist messages. They just got suspended. I might have to look into that. All right. Where is Adams hiding? Look at this. This is New York. He's trying to have a political. Now he's got him on a milk carton. Meanwhile, you're out here with all this trash because it's hard time for to address something that's systematic. It's not afraid to point out where the systematic racism exists. His answers came after Larry noted that Sliwa on the same radio show a day earlier characterized the FDNY members as a few bad apples rather than part of a pattern of bigotry. In response to Adams' comments, Sliwa fired back with his own allegation Tuesday, saying Adams. In response to Adams' comments, Sliwa fired back with his own allegations Tuesday, saying Adams has a habit of accusing people with whom he has a difference of opinion of being a racist. That's not true. Um, this is always his fallback position when he has a disagreement with you. He calls people racist. See what I told the Post. This is part of the tradition of Eric Adams. If you disagree with Eric Adams, you're a racist. This is sounds what racists say when black people call them out on shit. Good Lord, what is going on here? When his back is against the wall, he's always calling his adversaries racist. Fleetwood cited Adams in January 20, metaphorically declaring that gentrifiers should go back to Iowa and Ohio, as well as the Democratic harsh criticism of former primary opponent Andrew Yang and Catherine Garcia, joining forces on a crowded Democratic primary campaign trail on Juneteenth, day before voters went to the polls. Yeah, they were trying to fucking undercut him though. So let's not fucking man. Yeah, and then you misrepresent the facts of shit. Okay, day before the polls went to poll. I'm just going to join the club, Seaver said. Whenever Adams doesn't like you, he calls you a racist. Adams, in his interview, also accused Seaver of making mockery of the election. We're going to have to endure the antics of a person that thinks that this is a circus for the next 4 weeks, and I'm not going to tolerate it because that's the process. But can we take Curtis Seaver seriously based on his history in the city? Adams said on the radio program, referring Seaver's admitting to staging crimes and falsely claiming he was kidnapped. I'm turning the election into a circus by being this. I'm turning the election into a circus by being in the streets, in the subway, something he's not. Seaver shot back. He spent most of his time of late getting wined and dined in, pockets lined by the elites, the wealthy and the rich, the wealthy and the rich. Eric Adams has to understand there's an election ongoing, he went on. This is a democracy. He's not the Mashiach of the Democratic Party. He's not the savior of the city. Mashiach? The fuck is that? Judaism. Okay. Yeah. All right. Adams is the odds on favorite to win the race against Sliwa. And you haven't heard the fucking cops say anything. The New York City Police Department hated him for 20 years, tried to fire him countlessly. Now they what can they say? I'm with the Democrat. I mean, if they vote for Sliwa, they can vote for him. This their private vote. But if they come out for Sliwa, it just makes them look full of shit. Along with Democrats, voter registration advantage in the five boroughs. Adam had raised far more money for the election than Sliwa. Fundraising figure released last week revealed that Adams raised 2.4 million for his campaign between August 24th and September 27th, about a month. Concluding the reporting period with a 7 million on hand, CY raised 200,000 during the same time period and has just 1.2 million in his campaign account. On Monday morning, Adams released his first TV ad. Oh, gotta see it. Adams released his sense of winning the Democratic primary from there, touting his working class upbringing and pledging to fight for blue collar New York. Good. Yeah. Tis completely outrageous. Who are these people? Another child star went dead and missing. I don't know who this actress is, but she's dead of COVID. Man, that's messed up. Um, Frozen restaurant foods that are definitely worth the money. All right. Let's go here. Adam touts working class upbringing. Ugh, come on.
Invested in early childhood education, universal child care, and affordable housing. That's how we really make a difference. Because it shouldn't matter who you are or where you live. We all have a right to a safe and secure future. We invest in early childhood.
Let's look at this.
Houses, work 3 jobs to give us a better life. In a city that too often fails families like ours. I'm Eric Adams. We have to invest in early childhood education, universal child care, and affordable housing. That's how we really make a difference. Because it shouldn't matter who you are or where you live.
Here's your problem. People love to live in New York. They come with money and they throw people out. How are you going to stop that? So you've made New York a hotel. All that interesting, curious nature of New York is now gone, right? Years ago, I was like, why would I want to get pizza from people who aren't like the Italians in the neighborhood, right? There's supposed to be pizza at restaurants. Now the piece is made by anybody who can open a shop, and it's not. It's like if I want Chinese food, I want to go to like the Chinese dudes, right? Now, if anybody can make it, you might as well be a vending machine. I might as well open up a all American cuisine shop and just sell you whatever you want, and then just put on like the trappings of their society. You know, uh, a kimono for like this kind of food, or sombrero for that kind of food, or versus people who's like, oh, my mother been making this for me and da 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 da, and I'm starting a business. I'm like, oh, I'm for that. Versus, hey, I'm here from Pakistan and I opening a pizza place, which I have been to at least four, and they all suck. The FDU ride suspended nine. Hold it. When? How old is this? October 1st. This is like 5 days ago. The FDNY suspended nine firefighters without pay after a thread of racist messaging and memes between members uh, mocking the death of George Floyd last year was uncovered. The department launched an investigation after missive uh, were reported, resulting in FDNY's largest punitive action in its history. When these memes were reported, we investigated it, and the suspensions were the result. FDNY spokesman Jim Long confirmed to the Post. Suspensions range from a few days to 6 months without pay. Do something with yourself, you piece of shit. 6 months. Okay. I thought this was going to be bullshit. Yeah. Okay. I'm for that. With further reported in the New York Times. Maybe they don't need to desert, but yeah, this. Several black firefighters have reported to the department brass that white members exchanged grotesque texts and images mocking Floyd's dying moments, bragging about how cops can legally choke black children, the newspaper reported. Some firefighters also described using hoses on protesters during the summer 2020 social unrest, a move banned by department leadership. Do you know why it's banned? Are you fucking kidding me? That's what I mean. Your family comes here in 1970s, and all of a sudden you get to be a racist. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody got time for you. Your family comes here in the 1940s and get to be a racist. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody's got time for you. In one of the best jobs in the city, right? Yeah, people getting sprayed down with water hoses. I don't even bother, and I'm getting all pissed off. Um, and it's bad enough you've got an issue with race in the fire department in New York City. I don't know about anybody else, but in New York City, yep, banned by department leadership. The suspended members, including some who posted the aberrant memes and messages, or who served in supervisory capacity, Long said. The department has been going through a dramatic demographic change over the past decade. Long noted, although it remains dominated by white members. So you have a multicultural city, and the police department is mostly white, and the fire department is mostly white because they hire outside people to keep it a certain way, and there's more and more animus to it all the time. Uh, of the more than 11,000 FDNY members, 75% are white, down from 93%. More than just a decade ago, it was 93% white. There are no new FDNY hires between 2009 and 2014. So no one hired any firemen in this 5 year period. What? It's not the first time the FDNY has been hit with accusations of racism under Commissioner Daniel Negro, NIGRO people, who was placed at the helm of the department by Mayor de Blasio in 2014. The FDNY was sued in 2018 by one of its black members who claimed his bigoted bosses relegated him to driving delivery vans instead of fighting fires. The department was wrapped up in another controversy a year prior when it hired the son of a former fire commissioner who had resigned his EMS job in disgrace over his racist and anti Semitic rants on Twitter. Right? Black FDNY members have also reported getting hazed by their colleagues. In 2016, seven Midtown firefighters were disciplined for violating the force zero tolerance hazing policy in an incident that targeted black members. That's not hazing when you fuck with only the black people. The movement began in 1791. I like that sign. Um, let's give this a good look. Artist Kenny Altiador, 2020, 7 his phone number if you want his art. Haitian flag. You're flying too many flags here in America, people. Pick. You can't have two. And if you pick the wrong one, you can leave with it. Really tired of people in these multiple flag shits. Like, no. Um, a Brooklyn federal judge in 2011 appointed a diversity monitor over the the FDNY after a 2011 lawsuit by the Vulcan Society. The Vulcan Society is the Black Society of Firefighters, uh, and the Guardians is the Black Society of Cops. Right? I don't know why it's called Vulcan. Society of Black Firefighters and the U.S. Justice Department charged the department discriminated against minorities. Yeah, 93% white. You couldn't get that unless you tried, and they were trying. The department has since made a concerted effort to begin recruiting from prominently black and brown neighborhoods to address its racial disparity. By 2017, the majority of applicants who took the FDNY entrance exam were people of color. Yeah, because the city and more women took the test than ever before. Our unprecedented recruitment campaign has succeeded. Look at how they're patting themselves on the back. Why don't you just go, we're not as racist as we once were? I mean, they tried to keep it as it were. I mean, this is the thing about PR people, right? Our unprecedented recruitment campaign has succeeded in drawing interest in a firefighting career from more young men and women than ever before. Uh, Negro said in a statement at the time. I think it's pronounced Nigro, and because nobody wants it to be pronounced Negro. And our goal to expand and further diversify the applicant pool by attracting more women and people of color has also achieved record-breaking success. Wow. All right. I would have fired him, but 6 months is not easy to do without a salary. Adam laces into Sleeper during radio interview. Do you want to read this again? All right. Whoo wee. Uh, Woody shampoo and Billy Glow. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I mean, we need to fix the cop situation. All right. Please like and subscribe, my fellow compatriots. It's 10 after 9. We've been streaming for 2 hours and 37 minutes. I guess it's about the time we shut this down so I can work on my F chord and my B chord. Excuse me. And my B chord. Man, I've got like anyway. Um I want to thank everybody for coming through. Please like and subscribe. Uh I'll be back tomorrow. We're here every day, 7:30. 7:30, I'm sorry. We're here every day. 6:30, Monday through Saturday, 7:30 a.m. Sundays. Come on through. Uh I guess this is it. Let's shut it down. Um, we're here every day, like I just said, 6:30. Please come through. Yes, I think they call them nightsticks, but yeah, it's part of the uniform because sometimes you whack people on top of the head with it, and it's perfectly justified. Uh, you don't shoot everybody, but apparently everybody shoots everybody nowadays. Them new hipster cops, I guess. Uh, all right, ladies and gentlemen. And again, you look, having it's a dangerous gig, but it's a great gig. I would encourage you to have it, but don't tolerate the idiotry and the bullshit of the people there who want to make it a club of racists within the department. It should always be their head. I look at it as traitorous, right? Death to traitors always. Uh, have a good night, William. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, the 7th, lucky 7th day of the month. Uh, we've been streaming for 2 hours and 39 minutes. Uh, and I guess that leaves us to end it. You guys want to hear my, let me try the F chord again before we leave. Not awesome. Man, I'm really going to have to work on this. That's my F, and this is my. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, gonna have to work on that too. All right, boys and girls. I know what my homework is. Your homework is to have a good evening. Uh, and please come by tomorrow. Like and subscribe. It's awesome if you do. It helps out the channel. Slowly but steadily, we grow and become a giant beacon of truth and wisdom on the horizon. That's what we're doing here. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that's right. Boston Marathon is Monday. And thank you because apparently the Boston Marathon is the oldest and longest running marathon by a lot. I was like, what? This was news to us. So, yeah, I might watch the Boston Marathon. Man, it's running season. Do I even want to try running again? Oh, I think I might try running again. All right. Who knows? My mind races. Everything is racing. Uh, we will see you tomorrow, 7:30. Have a good night. Uh, I got love for you. Even if I don't know you personally, I feel you. Please like and subscribe, and we will catch you in the next one. And the next one is tomorrow. Peace.